Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the F-16. I'm specifically flying the Block 20, but this also works for the ADF as well in both the American and Italian trees for the one other Italian player out there. So this plane, of course, has been highly anticipated for a very long time. It finally came to the game. There's been a lot of people that have been very disappointed with it, a lot of people that have been very, well, at least that have been enjoying it. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Me personally, I have not really been enjoying this plane. I'm going to be discussing a little bit why here in a little bit. Now, it has a lot going for it, and there's a lot going against it as well. So as you can see, the radar works pretty well. It's got a nice pulse Doppler mode right here. I'm not really having any issues with him trying to notch. It's got the AIM-7M. Now, contrary to popular belief, the AIM-7M is not improved in any way, shape, or form over the AIM-7F. As of right now, there are carbon copies of the AIM-7F in the files. Now, they shouldn't be, but that is the current status that they are. So don't be listening if someone's trying to tell you they're more resistant to chaff, or they go ahead and loft or something. It's going to perform exactly the same as the AIM-7F. Now, this radar pair with this missile does exceptionally well. I would still rather have the F-14's radar, which is a little bit better in my opinion. Like, for example, being able to switch from just normal search to search pulse Doppler, or back again. Having that TWS is also quite nice. But this radar is still very good. I'd probably say it's second or third best radar in the game, and you're not going to be having any issues. It's actually a little bit better from my experience locking people flying away from you than the F-14s is, so you actually get some rear aspect AIM-7F kills as well. Now you're going to be getting plenty of kills with those AIM-7Ms, and I'm probably going to be saying AIM-7Fs at some point, my apologies, but pretty much the same thing, doesn't really matter regardless. But in addition, you've also got 4 AIM-9Ls to back it up. Now, these are the best, just generally the best heat-seeking missiles in the game, from my experience. I'd say pretty much everyone else's. They got good flare resistance, great pull, great range, pretty much everything you can ask for from a missile. Only downside is that they burn for quite a bit, so it's relatively easy to see them coming. And they seem a bit easier to flare this patch than they were last patch, so it's not a major concern, but just still got to keep it in mind. Now, when it comes to what I dislike about this plane, now, y'all can see I'm down here at sea level. I'm only pulling 10Gs. And this is at sea level where the plane performs the best. Literally every plane you fight is going to pull inside of you. Even Phantoms. This EJ, he doesn't even have Agile Eco upgrade. He's going to pull inside of me. Now, this comes with the big benefit of having great energy retention, but you can't really get your nose on target most of the time. The F-14s, your F-4s, your Kafirs, your Mirage 2000s, big in, of course, literally everything's going to pull inside you, except for other F-16s, because they also massively compress at high speed. Now, from what I understand, like a lot of other things this patch, is very work in progress. The F-16 is not supposed to lock up like this. There is actually a bug report on it right now, which I'm going to link in the description down below, showing that the performance is definitely way off, especially at high altitude. But in the meantime, this is what we have to work with. In exchange for that, however, this plane performs incredibly well at low speed. You see, I'm just pulling around this F-14. Like, he can't even do anything about it. There's literally nothing you can do. Same thing with this F-16 over here. I'm going 500 kmh and I'm pulling 6Gs. The only thing similar to this is the MiG-29 at slightly higher speed at like 700 or so. It's going to start pulling 8 or 9Gs. But this thing at low speed like this right here is untouchable. The problem is, at higher speeds, it locks up. And you can't, in most cases, you're not going to be able to get down to these low speeds like this right here. I got lucky in this case. There was no one around to come and third-party me whenever I was in there dogfighting these two. Whenever you do get situations like this, exceptional plane, I adore it. The problem is, in most of the situations, you're going to be sitting there going Mach 1. You're going to see a missile coming at you, and you're not going to have enough time to react. Just because the plane compresses so badly, you're not able to get out of the way in time, unfortunately. I think once that gets fixed, as long as that bug report does get fixed in a timely manner, I'm going to really enjoy this plane. In the meantime, it is something you have to consider. Every time you need a turn, you need to air brake. You need to get down to like that 800 or so kmh speed. If you aren't there, you are not going to be able to turn. Literally everything's going to turn inside of you. And you got to be very conscientious of when you're turning as well. Because if you try doing that when you're in the middle of a furball, you're going to get third party, you're going to get slammed. There's going to be some phantom sitting up in space that's going to come down and kill you. Every single time. Same thing, if you're sitting there and you're trying to slow down the dogfight someone, you're going to be a sitting duck for a target coming in. If you're only going 6, 7, 800 kmh and they're going Mach 1.2, it's going to be very easy for them to come in and just point your nose at you because other planes aren't going to compress like the F-16 does at high speed. MiG-29 can pretty easily get on the target at those higher speeds. It's going to be pulling 12, 13 Gs. It's going to be able to get that nose on. The rudder works very well, and the gun is better, at least from my experience. So you got to keep that in mind. You need to drop the speed if you're going to turn, but you only want to do it whenever you're sure that you can actually go ahead and dogfight without getting in trouble. If you can, this plane is exceptional. Whenever in a one-on-one, like if we had smaller games, we'd actually be able to do that more often. This plane would really be able to shine. It does really well with those. As it is right now, I definitely don't think it's comparable to the MiG-29. It's definitely better than all the other earlier third gens, of course. It's got the radar, it's got the missiles to back it up. It's got the flight performance. The acceleration is exceptional. The climb rate is exceptional. The energy retention is great. It just needs a bit more pull. I don't know if they decided to model a G limiter on the F-16, and that's why it's doing this, or if it's just the lack of lift that the bug report thinks, but it's really crippling the plane right now. To be honest, it's probably a good thing, because if they had this thing properly modeled, it would break the game, I think, to be honest. But in the meantime, it's just very annoying for me to play. Your big advantage is that slow speed, dogfighting capability, but in most cases you're not able to use that, because there's just so many people flying around that if you do slow down that much, you get killed. I think one thing that would really help it in the meantime, if Gaijin does want this plane to perform better, which to be honest I don't think they do, but if they did, would just be to go ahead and decrease the player count on each side. Instead of being 12 versus 12 or 14 versus 14 like it is right now, maybe just go down to 8v8. I'd prefer 6v6, but even just 8v8 would really help things in the meantime. You'd actually be able to kind of spread out a little bit more, maybe have some actual dogfighting going on instead of one team just suiciding into another one, head-oning with Sparrows, and then one team surviving, which is pretty much what it is at this point. I'm having issues getting footage because most games are lasting less than 5 minutes. But in the meantime, I hope you all at least enjoy this plane. I'm not going to be playing this very much more. I had a really hard time getting footage for it. But hope you enjoy and have a wonderful day. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Peace.